Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you are watching this live. Hello, crew. Hope all is well. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. So, I don't even know if you guys want me to do a review. I'll do a quick review, but we are all here for the same reason to talk about the last scene of this episode, okay? This is Real Housewives of Atlanta, child. Season 16, episode 5, about last night. Hey, Leo, what's up? What's up? What's up? How are you? So, just a quick review of the episode. So we're going to talk about how Shamia brought Britt's crazy ass and Angie over to talk about the night before. And so she was saying how, look, me and Angie, we were able to get along great. And then the next thing you know, one of the damn horses was tranquilized. Like this is some bullshit, right? And so they were like, yeah, what's going on, Britt? Like, I thought you were playing at first. But yeah, I realized, you a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That's, me talking, of course. But she said, it was just a lot. And, I couldn't sleep last night. And, she kind of sounds very nasally too. She kind of sounds very nasally. I didn't realize that she had a nose job. And I don't know why she had a nose job, because if you look at pictures of her prior to, I guess, the things that she's done to her face, Britt has always been a pretty girl. But at the end of the day, I guess no matter how much we see someone as being pretty, if they don't feel that way or they feel like they need work, they gonna do what the hell they gonna do. But with that being said, she tries to explain herself in a situation, but she says that she did not intentionally want Kenya to feel like, you know what I'm saying, she was in harm's way. And I'm like, Heffa, you mentioned a pee and a whip. What the hell were you expecting when you said some BS like that? So, at the end of the day, I guess she's starting to have remorse over the fact that she was trying to come for the queen, the top dog of the show, and realize that unfortunately she effed with the wrong one. I'm so sorry. I'm talking. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Shayla. Hey, Trina. So yeah. So with that being said, moving on. They are at Kenya Moore Hair Care Spa. And interesting enough, hey, what's up? Finally made it to a live on time. What's up? It's Neve, right? I remember you. I haven't seen you in a minute. Hope all is well. Hey, driven black girl. So, first of all, Kelly's outfit is so cute to me. That girl can dress like, I like Kelly, but at the same time, she kind of threw me off on this scene. So they go to Kenya's hair spa because she's having her grand opening, right? And so they talk about the night before and how Britt, of course, took it too far with what she was saying. What I did not like is Kelly trying to play dumb, because when Kenya mentioned that, she mentioned the P word and mentioned that type of stuff, Kelly was like, I didn't hear her say that. You a damn lie. She said it to you. You was right next to her. You heard her say it. You heard her say it more than anyone else. Don't lie. We literally saw her looking down at you, because there is definitely a height difference. And she said, I still carry my pee directly to you. You heard it. You heard it. Let's not play stupid. So I was like, Kelly, I'm giving you the side eye right now, because all you had to simply say was, I heard it, but I really don't think she's going to do anything. Like, I think she was just talking to be talking. But to say, oh, I didn't hear it. Yeah, okay. All right, Kelly, I see you, girl. But with that being said, Portia also said, okay, look, whatever happened at that table, that can be corrected, that can be fixed. But when you start talking about that type of stuff, it's taking it too far. So Kenya was like, I got too much to lose. I ain't got time for this BS. And Kelly's like, she's not really like that. And Kenya's like, I don't give a shit. I'm basing it off of what the hell I see, and what I see is I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I've seen enough. I'm good off of her ass, right? So yeah, so at that point, they move on with the conversation, and Kelly's trying to keep it cool between both of them. Interesting enough, though, the word on the street is the tee-hee-hee is that Kelly and Britt don't even get along anymore. That's the interesting part about all of this. She was doing everything she can to fight for that girl, and rumor has it Britt and Kelly don't even F with each other anymore. Isn't that interesting? So yeah, we'll have to see how that unfolds in the season. So moving on. So first things first, though, before I talk about this damn scene, I do want to talk about the scene with Angie and her daughter. Angie is definitely bringing it this season with how she is not afraid to go up against people, but she does have her own drama. We find out from her daughter that not only did her grandmother and aunt pretty much disrespect her by, I guess she went over there to borrow the car that Angie has provided to her mom and her sister, and they pretty much was like, no, you can't borrow the car. You need to give me some money if you want to borrow the car that her mother paid for. And then she said that her aunt was calling her demons and all of this type of stuff. So Angie was like, oh hell no. Like, oh hell no. Like, your aunt, my sister, is gonna pay for disrespecting my baby. And so the daughter is like, well, you gotta stop supporting them. If you take away your money and your resources, they will act accordingly. And so Angie is like, I mean, that's my mother. Like, my grandmother, I pretty much promised my grandmother to take care of my mother. We find out Angie's mama is bipolar. She's bipolar. She grew up like they grew up around her being bipolar. She said that she started taking medicine when she was younger, but the medicine has advanced a lot compared to what those medicines were back in the day. Honestly, in my personal opinion, those medicines back in the 70s and 80s to try to help with that were horrible. You know what I'm saying? But now they have gotten better. But she talks about that. And then we find out that Angie's oldest daughter, her first baby, ended up getting married and not telling her mother. And so they literally went through a whole tit for tat about that. And the daughter started crying and was like, look, I got married. Enough is enough. Like, everybody picking on me. Angie got some layers to her story. She got family drama. She got, a relationship with her daughter. But I don't know. Like, I think my mother would be like cussing me the hell out every chance she got if I got married and did not tell her, even if I am grown. But yeah, like, she got a lot of layers. So I'm kind of curious to see where Angie's going to go. Now, of course, rumor has it, you guys have told me that Oakley apparently has had a baby on Angie. In my opinion, I don't even think Angie gives a damn about that. If it's true, I really don't think she cares. As long as he come home at night, and as long as, she protecting her assets, I don't know if she cares. I think she knows the man that she's married, honestly. What do y'all think about that? I truly think she knows the man she's married, and it just works for them. That's what I think. But moving on to this scene. Portia and freaking Brett. Let me see what you guys are saying. Hubby must have said more after the camera crew left. You talking about Oakley, or you talking about who you talking about, Leo? Nobody gets along with Britt except Portia and Cynthia. Right. So that should tell you a lot right there. Wow. So guess her and Kelly had a big fallout later in the season. I guess so, honey, because the way that Kelly was protecting her to now they done had a fallout. Seems like Britt is the common denominator as well as Portia. But moving on. You a whole married woman, man. Your husband don't have a car. You talking about Angie? Who you talking about, Danny? You talking about Angie? Are you talking about Angie's mother? Angie's mother is married. As a bipolar person, the old meds are tired and true. This new stuff is very hard to regulate. Okay, so are tried and true. Okay, so you're saying that the old stuff, but see, I'm talking about the ones from like the 70s and the 80s though. Like I feel like they were kind of like trying to experiment on people with those medicines back in the 70s or 80s. But that's my opinion on the situation. I agree. Andrew could give two F's about Charles. Yeah, I think it's again, marriage. Interesting enough, I was speaking to one of the fellow content creators, Celeb, and we were talking about marriage. Like, I feel like Angie looks at that marriage strictly as a contract, look at it as assets and assets alone. I don't even know if she looks at it as love. So I feel like she knows the man that she's married. That wouldn't be the first alleged rumor he had a baby on her, right? And I think she knows that. And I think it's just like she doesn't look at it as in love, in my opinion, though. I was talking about Britt hubby. He must have told her to get it together to keep this check. Yeah, that's true too. Oh, you talking about Angie's daughter? Yeah, you do have a point. She's married, and she talking about she need to borrow the car. Maybe one of their cars broke down or something. Maybe that's the case. I don't know, child. I don't know, because I would think, especially the way Angie rolling around in Chanel and everything else, and buying houses and stuff, that she could buy her daughter a car. So I don't know what was up with that. But back to this scene with Britt and freaking Portia. Portia actually says some real stuff in this scene. She pretty much said, you had this preconceived notion of Kenya based on you being a fan stan, watching all of these years. You already had this preconceived notion of Kenya, which is why you kind of wanted to go after Kenya, because you wanted to go after the big dog. But Portia was like, little does she know that Kenya from years ago is not that Kenya anymore. She don't give a shit. And that's exactly what it is. Everybody and their mama is pretty much saying that Britt was a fan. She was a groupie when it came to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And she pretty much was trying to go after Kenya. Interesting enough, though, I will say this. Have y'all noticed that as soon as it gets to the point where you have the longest standing or the big dog, so to speak, on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, it always seems that production ends up taking a turn on the top dog? Have y'all noticed that? When you really think about it, Nene, top dog, all of a sudden it felt like production kind of came after Nene, but they also made it seem like Nene was public enemy number one, and there was no editing that could be done right on Nene. We started looking at Nene like what the hell is going on? Same thing with Kenya. Same thing with Candy, because at a certain point, Candy was looking like that. It's almost like you know what I think it could be? To me, it gets to the point where they feel like that the top dog is costing them so much money that they're going to find a way to get their asses off the show. It could be that, because I'm just trying to figure out why they always coming for the top dog. And here it is now with Kenya. They coming from the top dog. She is the longest standing housewife on the show, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I don't know. Who do you guys think get paid more, Kenya or Portia? I don't know. I don't know on that. Something tells me they may be neck and neck, but the reality is I don't know if they can necessarily afford both of them. You know what I'm saying? The ratings aren't rating like they used to. So I have a feeling that may have something to do with it. But again, that's my opinion. They take the top person down because the top person costs so much money. Britt did 20 on 10. She sure did. Yes, definitely they come for the top dog to bring them down. Yeah. They were evasive on the chemical imbalances of the brain that were newly discovered as imbalances. Black women were guinea pigs disturbingly for most. Yeah. You got, and hey, allergic to, I love that, allergic to BS. You are absolutely right. But, unfortunately, Black women and Black people have been guinea pigs for a lot of things back in the day. There's a history of that for us. But welcome to the channel. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. The episode probably has the highest rated episode. Oh, this episode, yeah. Yeah, because they was waiting, anticipating what Kenya was going to do or what Kenya was going to show. But yeah, so I did like what Portia said in this this part. And so Britt was like, I was totally wrong. And, I take full responsibility for what I did. And I think a lot of that was, I'm not trying to get kicked off the show because I need to try to make my money. At the end of the day, she knows she took it too far. She took it way too far in what she did. So, yeah, it definitely, but I did like to see that Portia called her out on her bullshit. I really do. So, let's get down to the nitty gritty, which is, of course, the grand opening. So the grand opening is here. Kenya did look absolutely amazing, but Kenya always slays to me. Like, she is truly the definition of the black Barbie doll. She always slays. I love the color. I love the color scheme and everything. I love the flowers. I even love Brit flowers, but I loved all of that. Of course, there had to be a scene between Portia and Drew, and I'm over it. Portia is dragging this shit. I'm so tired of this. I'm like, look, Drew is trying to talk to you. You claim you don't want your baby daddy. She's like, look, we both going through a divorce. Kenya is dragging this on to keep conflict with Drew, and I'm done. I'm just like, Portia, like, you are making it very hard for me to rock with you in any capacity this season. You're doing too damn much, which may explain why Portia and Britt freaking Britt get along now, because they both putting 20 on 10. Hell, 2,000 on 10. Let's say this episode be exactly high and thanks. Yes, you're absolutely right. When Portia be making sense, then you effed up. Ain't that the damn truth, Trina? Unpopular vote. I'm not mad. Kenya's gone. A lot of people actually feel that way. Hey, celeb, I just was talking about you and talking about marriage. I was just literally talking about you maybe like 5 minutes ago when I was talking about marriage and Angie and Charles Oakley marriage. It is so crazy. We was just talking about that. You guys, Celebrity Scandalous is in the building. Make sure you guys go and follow her. She is definitely my fellow Cali sister, content creator. But yeah, we was just talking about marriage. And literally, I was just talking about Angie and how she looks at her marriage as a contract versus it actually being love. But so yeah, Kenya probably had that tequila something in her eyes. We gonna talk about that. We gonna talk about that, Trina. So I'm over Portia though. I'm over her and her nonsense. It's over. It's done. Stop the nonsense. I'm tired of you talking about this. Drew has tried to talk to you. Keep egging this on. Like, it's not even Simon. It's freaking your baby daddy. You should have been over him a long time ago. She talked to you. You claim she's lying. Can we move on? Do you not have any other conflicts that you can have during this season? And that's why you want to keep this going with Drew? Because at this point, you're beating a dead horse. It's over. But let's get to it. So, Britt and Kelly get in the car, and Britt talks about how she lost her aunt, and it's her father's sister, and it was unexpected, just like her father's situation was. So she said, with that going on, and then what's going on with Kenya, it's been a lot. But she says she's coming with white, flowers to try to, make amends with Kenya to see if she, will accept her apology. I always thought Portia wasn't into Dennis anyways. She wasn't into Simon either. To me, she just was in it for the money. Like, even, what was the damn first husband's name that was the football player? Do you think she really loved him either? Hell nah. She has been taught very well on what kind of man she needs to go after. Normally that goes against girl code, but she has nerve after what she did. Exactly, celeb. Exactly. So yes, Cordell, child, Cordell. So at that point, they go in and everybody's there. Cynthia's there, like everybody is there. And of course, Cynthia and Portia, they talk about what happened the night before. And so Britt comes in trying to apologize to Kenya and give her flowers, and Kenya is paying her dust. She was even saying that, I'm paying her dust, just doing all of the extra stuff that Kenya likes to do. So she ignored her. And so at that point, Britt was like, okay, I'm going to take my exit. That's my cue. I'm going to leave the flowers, but let me get up out of here or whatever, right? So then at that point, Kenya starts. All right. She looks absolutely gorgeous here, but that's Kenya. Kenya's been beautiful her whole life. Kenya starts talking and she's like, so yeah, make sure you guys also hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe, Kenya's like, so yeah, people keep trying me. They keep trying me. And this one particular girl, I don't know who she is. And so I had to start investigating and say, yeah, who the hell are you? Who are you? And so she was like, this girl sat up there and threatened me with a P. And you know what? I paid her dust. So she's just doing her dramatics because, Kenya also acts too. So she's doing all of the dramatics and everybody looking on like, okay, all right. What you getting at? So she was like, so, we have to do some digging because I was trying to figure out who she is. So who is this hoe? Child, she had damn billboards, posters. Okay, now look at Drew's face. Drew's face say it all. And Drew is not the only one who had this face. Everybody in the freaking audience was like, this ain't good. Like, and the problem is, it wasn't just this one. She had 3 different ones. And the last one was the final one that everybody was like, cut the cameras. What the hell is going on here? So Kenya, this is my thing. I'm trying to figure out who Kenya is in this moment. I don't know if she's having a midlife crisis. I don't know if she's stressed out because of all of the money that she put into this spa. I don't know. But what I do know is this. This is not the Kenya that we've always known. When Kenya was clapping back at people, Kenya was very strategic. She damn sure, the old Kenya damn sure would have not ruined her own event. She ruined her own grand opening and made it about Brett, someone that she said was a peasant, should not even get any attention from her, and you make her the main event. This was more than the hair show, which I thought the hair show was very unique, especially for her grand opening. No one gave a damn about that anymore once this came out. This is not the Kenya we know. The Kenya we know was the Kenya who invited Nene and gave her that, because in my opinion, remember that bogus ass award that she gave Nene, and Nene got up there saying, it's amazing how I have a lot of friends that I know nothing about. Remember that? Y'all can't tell me Kenya didn't play that and didn't play that well. She knew what she was doing by doing that and giving Nene an award. She knew Nene was going to respond in that way, but Kenya still looked like the innocent victim in the situation because she played her hand well. Kenya has always been known to play her hand well. And in this moment, she literally made herself look like a fool and played herself. She played herself. And this is when I was like, who the hell is this woman? Because this is not the Kenya we know. We have had so many moments with Kenya where Kenya, even when she's had events, she's always been the one that is the boss of the shade, and she will sit up there and be the victorious one in the end. Even when Portia, remember when Portia came to her event that one time with Cordell, and then she ended up kicking Portia out, and Portia and Cordell was like going off. Kenya still, she knew what she was doing in that too, but she still was victorious in that situation. She still played her hand well. I don't know what Kenya, will the real Kenya please stand up? Because this shit was not Kenya. And I don't know if production just made her go to another level when it comes to this, because it really makes us, okay, let me ask y'all this. Do you feel like in this moment Kenya did too much? Put a 1 in the chat if you feel like Kenya in this moment and what she did when it came to Brett even after what Britt did. Put a 1 in the chat if you feel like Kenya went way too far, or put a 2 in the chat and say no, she didn't. You know what I'm saying? She just finished that girl, but you don't feel like she went too far. Y'all let me know. Because in my personal opinion, this does look like Revenge P. It does. It looks like Revenge P. Shayla said, hell no, too. She wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong. I've seen a lot of 1s in the chat, but 2. Okay, Shayla said 2. Right action, wrong time, 1 and 2. Okay, so Danielle saying right action, wrong time. A 1, but a 2, because at the same time, she did do this at her own grand opening. At her own grand opening. Who does this after you just cried to Kelly about how you have put $400,000 into this business, literally putting your own daughter's college education invested into this business, and you decide to do Revenge P at your own event, not her event, but your own event? Talking about crashing out at your own freaking party. Like, this is not Kenya. That's why I said Kenya's never been a self-sabotager. She's never been one to self-sabotage herself. So this is why I'm like, what is going on? I love Kenya. It was cringy. Yes. Okay. So 1 also. Yes, it does. And a network can have liability. Right. Now, apparently at the end, of course, they sat up there and said that they decided to not film with her anymore during the season. But based on what a lot of people are saying, Kenya decided not to come back after the suspension. Who's telling the truth? Who knows? She self-sabotaged her own event. It wasn't a good look. Right. After all of that and how hard you worked, I think you did misunderstand the question, because 1 meant that she was wrong, 2 saying she wasn't wrong. So I think you meant 1, Shayla. It's all good though. Wrong time, wrong place for sure, and messed up your brand. Big time. Big time. Not just her brand, but her check. Let's just keep it real. She messed up her check, because if they cut her off mid-season, she didn't get paid. I don't think she can get paid for the whole season. Kenya was wrong. Britt was in the wrong first, but showing exactly will always be insane. Right. Right. Even if someone did sit up there, sorry, you guys, if you guys hear the cat in the background, you already know how it goes. But with that, even if you had that information, Kenya has a daughter. Kenya is a woman. Like, Kenya is in her 50s. We're not dealing with a 20-year-old here. Kenya is in her 50s. And even when Shamia and them was like, you went too far, she was like, no, don't tell me I went too far. This girl threatened me with a P. Don't tell me I went too far. And I was like, girl, like, read the room. Like, you didn't even read the room enough to understand that no one was feeling what you were doing. No one was feeling what you were doing. Like, I don't know what happened with her, but this is not Kenya. Can't tell someone how far to take it once they feel violated. I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, but at the same time, woman to woman, there are just certain things I think as women that other women shouldn't want other women to experience. There's certain violations that I feel like, as a woman, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And to me, this is one of them. You know what I'm saying? Even if the pictures are out there, let somebody else post that stuff, but I'm not going to be the one to post it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just certain things, certain violations that I think woman to woman is like, nah, I don't want a woman to go through that. As much as I may, even if the heifer did me dirty, I just wouldn't wish that on anyone, type of thing. But of course, people started feeling uncomfortable. Kelly was one of the first ones to walk out, and there was other people walking out with her. All of them were feeling uncomfortable. All of them were. Kenya could have easily went to the po and filed a report and could have gotten Britt fired. She could have, but this is why I'm saying, I don't know what's going on with Kenya, but maybe Kenya was going through some stuff herself. And I think she forgot. Like, this is probably also one of them moments, because I didn't even watch that season, but apparently the season when Kim Fields was on there and she decided to like move Kim Fields' chair or kind of like violate her and kind of physically get close to her. And they were saying that that wasn't a good look with Kenya too. Kenya, sometimes I think maybe she forgets where she is, but this was just ridiculous. Don't sometimes, especially at a beauty event, very poor taste. Right. That's supposed to be celebrating women. When you're doing a hair spa, you want your main audience and people, your customers, to be women. This is for women, especially in Atlanta. This is for Black women. And then you decide to expose a Black woman like that? Child, like, what is going on? Cynthia did look sick to her stomach. She was so disappointed in Kenya. As a woman, oh yeah, I watched it when Kim was there too. As a woman, Black women hate each other the most. Britt started it and Kenya finished it. Unfortunately, that can be true. And I hate that. I hate that with a passion. We are the most disrespected, but we have to get to the point where we have to protect each other, because who else is protecting us out here? You know what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate, but the finishing that she did ruined her to a certain extent. Now, I'm sure Kenya is going to be able to bounce back because she has the following, she has the fan base. You know, everybody has that stan culture where they feel like they favorite can do no wrong. I think she'll be fine, but this was in such poor taste. Such poor taste. Scroll up, check out my comment. I think she's melting down like she having a midlife crisis. Maybe she having a midlife crisis. She's in her 50s. You know what I'm saying? She's in her 50s. I don't know. Maybe the stress of all of that money she put into it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that the Kim Fields saying, yeah, she finished herself. It won't happen as long as reality shows and BBLs exist. But this is the face that, to me, let me know that she knew she was in the wrong. Look at her face. This is when she was talking to Kenya, talking to Cynthia. When Cynthia was like, I love you, but I hate that you went there and this is not of you. The way she was talking to her, she was talking to her like a true friend. Like, I love you. I support you. We have definitely had our ups and downs, but this was she pretty much told her this was in poor taste. This was not a good look. Look at Kenya's face. In this moment right here, I think Kenya knew she was in the wrong. She knew she had messed up. She knew she messed up. She knew she took it too far, because the last thing she said was, I'm just tired of people playing with me, or whatever the case may be. She said something along those lines. But in her face, in her eyes, I think, talking to Cynthia at that moment, she knew at that point, damn, maybe, just maybe, I took it too far and ruined myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that face right there says it all. Her eyes says it all. That was a moment of her sister talking to sister conversation, saying, you know, you done effed up, right? I love you, but you know you done effed up. Like, now you look like the villain in the situation when you easily could have just made her look like the villain. Now you're the villain. And you're the top dog villain that should know better and know how to play your cards right. You know how to play your hand well. You've always played your hand well. And you let a newbie sit up there and knock you off your spot and knock you out of your own event. She wasn't even there for 1 minute. She sat up there and gave those flowers and walked out. And the event becomes about her? Oh, child. Kenya. You know, like, it was just like, who is this woman? Hoppo, who this woman? Because this ain't the Kenya that we know. She was always able to get under people's skin and be able to leave. To me, in this situation, Kenya was more riled up, and Kenya was more showing how she was becoming more unhinged versus getting someone else unhinged. Kenya was always able to get under everybody else's skin and make them unhinged or make them lose their mind while she had a big smile on her face and would flip her hair and keep it moving. In this scene, she showed that she was a little unhinged. I feel like she's too savvy to be that basic. She could have been more strategic. She's always been strategic, celeb. That's the crazy part. She was always strategic. I don't know what happened. Thank you, Leo. Yes, make sure you hit the like button. Hit the like button and definitely say hello. Like, share, subscribe. She knew when she didn't get the buy-in from the other women. Yeah, she had to. She felt that energy. Yeah, Kenya was brought back to reality after Kenya gave her that talk and she saw some folks empty. Exactly. Look it in her eyes. Those eyes are saying she knows she effed up. She ain't trying to show it, but she knows. She absolutely knows. So yeah, Kenya has been getting away with foolishness for years. She did that in that moment. She knew she went too far. She moment knows she went too far, couldn't turn back. Yeah. She went too far. And clearly she doesn't have a good relationship with production. Because see, there used to be a time that these shows, I think the reason why the shows were so magical back in the day is because production and actually the cast, they had a relationship and they had a bond. You know what I mean? Now it seems like it's production versus them versus production. I feel like if she had like that production person who was like really cool with her, they would have kind of told her beforehand, this ain't the move. This ain't the move. This is not cool. Because apparently, allegedly, when Kim was on that season and she did what she did to Kim, they was kind of iffy about letting her back after that. Allegedly, they was saying like you went too far, but she was able to reel it back in. But at the same time, Kenya making it seem like she don't want to come back anyways. We'll see. Give it a couple seasons. We'll see if that is the case, or she definitely gonna come back. Shayla said, bye, Kenya. Don't forget, yes, hit the like button, hit the like button. Thank you so much, Leo. Thank you so much, Celeb. So yeah, you guys, I don't know who this woman is, but this is not the Kenya that we knew and know. This is not her. This is not her. And I really want to know if all of the stress that she's been going through with that divorce, raising her child, I'm really trying to figure out, has there ever been a moment where Kenya has been vulnerable, where she cried like that with Kelly, but it was like sincere? We have definitely had, because see, the problem is Kenya is an actress too. So sometimes I don't know if she's actually being serious or she's acting, but I truly felt like that actual episode where she was crying, talking about Brooklyn and investing Brooklyn's college education into the salon, I truly felt like that was a genuine moment. And we don't really see those type of moments from Kenya. Kenya seems to always be in very much so control. So maybe there is some things going on. Maybe the fear of, possibly not the business not doing well, which I don't really understand how the business can't do well. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. So I don't know if it's the lack of promotion. I don't know, but hopefully Kenya will pull it together. She got Miss Lawrence. Miss Lawrence, of course, has been making moves, on the acting side, but also was known. Of course, we first met Miss Lawrence because Miss Lawrence was, a stylist, a hairstylist. So I'm sure with the connection she has and Candy, I think she'll be fine. But child, this was a bad look. Kenya was given scarlet letter from Phaedra due to Apollo's lie for years and was carrying the what title? Kenya was better than that. Yeah, it was cringy. Look at how her personal life alone is falling apart. Her man crushed her hopes of a successful family, complete with a baby of her own. She tried all her life and succeeded to being a perfect Black. One thing about it though, even in that crazy divorce, or have they officially divorced now, or are they still fighting it? One thing about it though, when you look at that beautiful Brooklyn, not only that little girl is beautiful, her personality like that, you can't look at that and not say that's a blessing. I'm sure as stressful as it is, she looks at her daughter and is just so happy that her daughter is here. Yes, thank you, Teef. Yes, hit the like button. In this economy, she needs that check. Can you please? Right, because I'm sure with all the money that she's made from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, she has high expenses too. Like, first of all, your average American can't put $400,000 into a business. So she has high expenses. So yeah, hopefully she's done enough savings, and with her hair care line, she'll be okay. But I definitely don't see her coming back for a couple of seasons. I honestly, I'm trying to figure out, do you guys think she's gonna be at the reunion? Put a one in the chat if you feel like she's gonna be at the reunion. Put a two in the chat if you say hell no, she ain't gonna be at the reunion. She has no true friends, especially from that show. You talking about Kenya? I think Kenya has a true friend in Candy and Cynthia. I do. I think, even though honestly, I felt sometimes Cynthia was more of a friend to Kenya than Kenya was a Cynthia, but that's just my personal opinion. And this event was the next day. How she have enough time to get her event together, hire an investigator, and go Staples to get? Yeah, if it was the next day, or are they playing us like it was the next day? They made it seem like it was about last night, like it was a night difference. I don't know. It could have been a couple of days. Hell, for all we know, production could have helped her with this and then just like threw her under the bus. Kind of like what they alleged the situation happened with Phaedra and Candy with the lies. The lies. They claim that production helped her with that. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Hey Kiko, what's up? Yes, when she was crying over her dog Velvet. Yeah, that was a sincere moment. The Velvet situation, I think this situation with her daughter was definitely a sincere moment. Heavenly versus Kenya acclamation. Remember that, Chris, on my 90s awkward. Heavenly versus Kenya. Do I remember a Heavenly versus Kenya? I don't know. I don't know if I remember that. I have a soft spot for her because of her relationship with her mom. Yeah, she definitely, you know what I'm saying? Her relationship with her mother is definitely quite interesting, and it definitely pulled on some heartstrings. And when her mother refused to film on camera, yeah, she's trying to not be her mother, who she resents and uses that to drive her success. Yeah. Nope, still fighting. Let's see. Hands, yellow heart, hands, yellow heart, red. Oh, I think your emojis didn't come out. Allergic to BS. He opened 4 new restaurants. Oh, are they gonna be successful though? That is the question. Is he paying child support? That's what I need to know. Is he paying alimony, or does she have to pay the alimony? Them too. It says, okay, yes, I love the originals. I think they were more like family. Yeah. I think the production, and back in the day, it was just better because I feel like production vibed with the cast more. Now it's like them versus, and it's become a mess, and it's drama. Like when Kenya feels like she wasn't protected with what Britt said, it shouldn't have even gone that far. And for her to have like literally been on the show for so many years, has made so much money for the network, the production company, it should have never gone that far. But it's almost like they just throw away, you know what I'm saying, their old heads. And I think a lot of that has to do with the expenses and how much they cost. But yeah, she doesn't have a healthy relationship with women. Honestly, none of them, in my opinion, on this show have a healthy relationship with women. Honestly, I don't think any of them really do. That's what I think production is usually involved with the setup. Right. Portia goes too far all the time. Even she was shocked. Right. She even looked uncomfortable. What the hell happened to Kim Z? Child, that is a whole nother a whole nother story. From my understanding, allegedly they claim she got a money gambling problem, and yeah, so that's a whole nother one. Production knew what Kenya was gonna do. They just let her crash out and watch the fallout, and probably wanted it so they could say, "Let's get her off the show and cut our expenses." Let's get her off the show and cut our expenses. She is a high-ranking housewife, and we could save some money and bring Phaedra in at a cheaper rate. Y'all, whatever happened to that guy, Matt, the one that tried to break into a garage and fought Peter at the radio station? I don't know. Hopefully he got some help. He's having financial issues. Just saw a few weeks ago. Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. It's drama equals money. Right. Cynthia and Kenya's relationship has come a long way, but I'll never forget when Nene came back from her hiatus. Cynthia dropped Kenya like a bad habit. She did. She did, but remember when Cynthia and Kenya were on that what is it, like the all girls trip of the housewives? Kenya played Cynthia. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't think really a lot of them understand that they're just co-workers and they're doing it for the show. But I do feel like some of them do have good relationships, or at least healthy business relationships. Because one thing about it is, anybody who's trying to start a business or have a successful business, you don't want Candy on your bad side. She's known to have successful businesses. Even if some of them have fallen apart, she still has successful businesses, and every entrepreneurial spirit, there are going to be some businesses that do fail. That's just what it is. Being an entrepreneur is not for the weak, that's for sure. I stopped watching the show after the first episode. I can't tell the two women apart. I'm not interested. Would rather watch a TV series instead. Which two women? Which two women you talk about, Kiko? The old claymation show on MTV that has celebs fighting. I'm showing my age. Oh, okay, gotcha. Nene looked like little Kim. You could shoot. Oh yeah. So yeah, okay, that's what you're talking about. I'm surprised she didn't get her crown taken from that poster she published. That was not. You know what? And let's be clear. Especially when you a black woman, they will in a heartbeat try to take your crown. I don't know if it's because it's been so many years at this point, but you may have a point, Kiko. Because they did it with Vanessa Williams, like and Kenya. Like, I'm shocked that wasn't even a conversation that was on the table. That's interesting, because you got a point. You definitely have a point. Brent and Angela look so much alike with the nose. Not the Well, at least Angie don't sound nasally like Britt does. Britt sounds like her nose job caused her to sound stuffed up all the time. I think Nene spilled it years ago on Wendy Williams' show that they are only co-workers that don't really hang out like that. Yeah. They might do her like Phaedra. Right. Yep. Remember what happened to Vanessa? Yep, sure do remember what happened to Vanessa. It says Mark Daly is facing an eviction lawsuit and $2,000 a month child support. That's low. That's very low. But see, the thing is, he's an entrepreneur. So the thing about those entrepreneurs, they could try to hide their money. See, they be slick with hiding their assets. Kenya, for the most part, the main bread and butter for her, she was salary based with the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So she gets a 1099 or something from freaking Bravo with her check to show that this is a guaranteed check that she's getting. Mark, by him being an entrepreneur, can try to make it seem like he has to actually like spend more and he's not getting that much of a profit. So that's where he can be slick with it, but really probably has some real freaking money, you know what I'm saying, somewhere in the cut, but just don't want to pay her or pay taxes, allegedly, like a lot of folks be doing sometimes. So yeah, y'all. So with that being said, hey Mia, yeah, we about to close this up, girly, but replay gang is always appreciated. But Kenya, man, the black Barbie doll. Like, I am so disappointed. And let's be clear, I am not Team Brit. Okay. But I just know how Kenya has been strategic all of her times that she has been on this show. And this was an epic fail. And to me, her face right here says it all. Her eyes says it all. She knows she effed up. But I'm not going to wish bad on her at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Even in these times, Kenya can bounce back. But this was definitely too much. And then, to me, if she would have did it at any other event, it still would have been too much. But to do it at your own event, you sabotaged yourself. What the hell? Like, you sabotage yourself. Shot she took. Did she take some edibles? I don't know. But this is not, will the real Kenya please stand up? This was not her. This is not the Kenya we have known for season after season. She allowed Brit, the so-called peasant, to take her off her throne. That's a no-no. So I don't know. Y'all let me know. Do y'all feel she had every right to do what she did? Do you feel that you still team Kenya all day? Do you feel like now you have been turned off by Kenya? Let's continue the conversation because I'm curious. I'm curious. Again, as long as you're respectful, I love to hear different opinions. I want to know. And instead of just saying team Kenya, I would like to know why you're still team Kenya, or if you no longer a fan of Kenya, tell me why, because I feel like there's no right or wrong in this. A lot of people have different opinions in this situation. And, I guess I can't technically blame them, feeling how they feel. Some people have that mentality where if you threaten me with a P, then I'm going to take you to hell, the gutter hell. You know what I'm saying? Some people have that mentality like, no, no, no. Britt was in the wrong. And because she was in the wrong for taking it there, Kenya took her to hell. Some people still feel like, it's too far. For me, revenge P is too far. There's just certain things I would not want a woman to experience as a fellow woman. That's just, I can't do it. I can't do it. But that's me. That's me. Some people like, F it. You mess with me, you come for me, I'm going to take it there. Like I have learned in a lot of situations, especially as old as I am now, that sometimes the best thing for you to do is to not respond and let the higher power fight your battles. Like, sometimes it's not worth it because look at this situation now. Now she's checkless and it seems like she needs the money. So we'll see. We'll see. I know the comment section is, she got some people tearing her ass up right now. So we'll see. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm so disappointed in Kenya. She has way more sense than that. Maybe this is her karma. She was horrible to Phaedra by Kenya. Oh, see, I'm not a Phaedra fan, Kiko. I'm not a Phaedra fan. Not a Phaedra fan at all. Like, if I had to pick between Phaedra and Kenya, it would be Kenya all day. Kenya all day. Because for me, that is another moment that I could not rock with when Phaedra accused Candy of the R word. There's just certain things you don't do when it comes to women. You just like, seriously. You know what I'm saying? Especially another fellow Black woman who understands how hard it is to be successful and to keep your name clean. Well, hell, maybe Phaedra wouldn't know shit about that. Angela Stanton, hello. But at the same time, I couldn't rock with her on that either. You know what I'm saying? If you're that scared, you don't do that. It doesn't match up. Fowler report, Kenya in this big age was so on. Yeah, she in her 50s. That's the thing. We can't even say now this is a move for a 20-year-old, a girl in her teens who don't know how to control her emotions at this point. Not someone who's 50 successful with a daughter. Like, it just wasn't a move, but that's my opinion. What gets me is Britt wasn't even in the building to try to embarrass her. Exactly. And her event became all about her, where people came outside to check on Britt and left Kenya's event. Or to go outside to talk about how wrong Kenya was and wasn't even there to really see her shop and what she had to offer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, what is going on? But she disrespected her marriage. That's all I'm saying. Phaedra was wrong too. I don't like either of them. Oh, you talking about with the whole Apollo situation. I got it. I remember that when they was on that trip, right? That was like one of her first seasons, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I remember what you were saying. Yeah, I remember that. God is not through with me yet. Off to hell I go. You know what's interesting though? God is working on me every day. And I'm one of those people where I have always given people the benefit of the doubt. I try my best. But if it gets to the point where people keep like messing with me, I can see how people can say, I'm going to take you to hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see how people could go there. But I think just as a woman, like, I wouldn't be able to just blow up pictures like that and say, who's this hoe? You know what I'm saying? Like, because let's be clear, Kenya is of another generation where there was really no internet a lot of times. Damn sure no phones with cameras on it. We don't really know what Kenya was doing in the dark back in the day that just didn't come out. That's one thing that Kelly did say when she was walking out. She said, well, you probably was a hoe at one point in your life. So you kind of got to be mindful, you know what I'm saying, of things or whatever the case may be that you say. Just because she's in the social media era don't mean you didn't have your shit back in the day, Kenya. But with that being said, you guys, Kenya tried to F or was flirting heavily with Phaedra's husband from the jump. I'm not a fan of either. Her hair does look stunning. Yeah, Kenya always slays. She always slays. That's one thing about it. I'll call her the black Barbie doll. She truly slays. She looks absolutely amazing to be in her 50s. So, and she just, to me, she like is like, you know, aging like fine wine. Like she just literally, to me, she looked better now than when she won Miss USA. I'm sure money helps with that too, but she's always been a beautiful girl. Portia already said Kenya was Here's the problem though. Portia and Kenya are not in the same age bracket. So how would Portia know? Kenya is easily 10 years older than Portia. So Portia needs to stop. Like she really needs to stop. And we ain't gonna even talk about Portia and what she's been willing to do by taking someone's husband, allegedly. Yeah, because Kenya was a little video vixen back. She was. She was a video vixen. She was an actress. So, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like she was constantly in heavy rotation in like acting like TV shows and movies and stuff. So what was she doing that whole entire time to make her money? You know what I'm saying? Miss USA only does so much. You only really have a good full year to take advantage of Miss USA before the next Miss USA comes out. So, yeah. So, you know, but again, she came from a generation where there was no phones and stuff like that. There was no freaking, internet. So she could get away with a lot of stuff. But with that being said, you guys, let's continue the conversation below. What do you guys think about this episode? Like I said, my personal opinion, Kenya, girl, I don't know who you are at this point, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But what we do know is that at the end of the day, though, Britt doesn't seem to be on anyone's favorite list by the end of this season. And when Portia is your only friend on the show, which Portia is no friend at all, honey, you better run and you better hope you'll have a peach next season. So with that being said, you guys, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Toodles.